So this is probably something everyone could get on board with. D&D designers jump ship to Critical Role for a new Daggerheart TTRPG after destroying Dungeons and Dragons with woke ideology. So we've got Critical Role, you know, Laura, Laura, no, Laura Bailey, Kid Trunks, play a little game called World of Warcraft. You might know her as just a throwaway character by the name of Jaina Proudmoore. Uh, Yu Yu Hakusho fans, Keiko. Oh, Keiko. I had a cat named Keiko. She died because she was on the roof one day and she tried to jump into the small tree that's on the side, and she jumped down but then kind of miscalculated and just fell the rest of the way. And she was fine for 3 days, eating, drinking, playing with her siblings, and then I came home one day and she was just dead. But yeah, that's the Keiko that I named her after from Yu Yu Hakusho. And then we got Matthew Mercer, who lived out his dream of becoming Ganondorf. He part of a little web series that was back in the day called There Will Be Brawl, which was, you know, obviously based on There Will Be Blood. So obviously Ganondorf was more of a mafia kind of, and he didn't have that deeper voice, that deeper, more sinister voice. You know, he sort of talked like this, you know, had a bit of an accent to him, like he was in New York. But yeah, Matthew Mercer. He also World of Warcraft. I think he played Kilrog. Kilrog. I'm sure he's played other characters, but I know for a fact he played. I think it was Kilrog. Liam O'Brien. Naruto. Not Naruto himself, but another throwaway character. These people are just throwaway characters. Little character by the name of Gara from the desert. Also in World of Warcraft, some pesky little demon hunter known as Illidan Stormrage. Yeah, just these characters no one really cares about. But yeah, Critical Role. They like a Dungeons and Dragons sort of thing where, you know, they have their own little scenarios, and Matthew is usually the dungeon master, which is pretty cool because he really gets you into it with the noises and the voices and this and that. So if you kind of want to see what they do, I mean, you go on YouTube and Critical Role, and like he really gets into it. You know, when anyone else is a game master, it's like, but when he does it, he gets into it. Like he is a nerd, which is great. But the departure of Christopher Perkins and Jeremy Crawford from Wizards of the Coast to join Critical Role's Darrington Press shocked D&D fans last week. The architects of D&D's woke transformation are abandoning ship just as consequences of the ideological vandalism become undeniable at Hasbro. Critical Role is a Dungeons and Dragons themed channel where they've become famous for playing the fantasy role-playing game with minor geek celebrities and the like, until they became minor geek celebrities in their own right. I mean, they were already kind of celebrities before. Or not, shouldn't say celebrities, because most of them are just voice actors, and most voice actors don't consider themselves celebrities. They're just voice actors. You know? Voice actor is not like actors where you're out being seen. No, they're also Abby from The Last of Us Part 2, or, you know, Last of Us 2. Yeah. She was getting death threats because people were acting like she was the one who created the character of Abby. It's like, no, she just did the voice. You're sending death threats to a woman that had nothing to do with the character itself. She just did the voice. I made a video about that ages ago when it was happening because it's freaking ridiculous. But now they moved over two of the chief designers from Hasbro's latest D&D 2024 edition. Storytelling has always been part of at the heart of everything I do, and joining Darrington Press feels a bit like coming home. I loved being a part of the extended Critical Role family as a regular guest over the years, and I'm beyond excited to help create new worlds full of adventure. I've always believed that great games invite anyone to the table, except, unless you disagree with their lifestyle or ideology or anything, then you tell them it's not for you, don't play it. Or if you say, hey, why are you screwing with things like this? Or why are you excluding certain things? Or why are we trying to cater to a certain group of people? No, no, no. But yeah, you believe it's welcoming, right? And that's exactly what excites me about joining Darrington Press. This team is passionate, wildly creative, and committed to building welcoming, connected, amazing, story-driven experiences. I can't wait to expand what Critical Role has already created to develop some really fun and unique games. Their statements offer sanitized opinions that sound very corporate. They don't say much of anything about Critical Role's Daggerheart, a new alternative to Dungeons and Dragons. Though if they're hiring the same people who worked on the 2024 edition, why is an alternate even necessary? Clownfish TV's Neon observed in a video on the topic. Critical Role is going to try to take on Dungeons and Dragons head on. In fact, they poached the lead designers from D&D. As much as this might be the case, Critical Role is swiping these designers in what appears to be an ideological move, since this edition of Dungeons and Dragons has been roundly criticized. Perkins and Crawford bear direct responsibility for transforming D&D from a game about heroic adventures into a vehicle for social justice messaging under their stewardship. Steward. The 2024 Monster Manual, brought to life by Crawford and Perkins, became so sanitized it doesn't even include orcs as monsters. Apparently, because depicting them as evil creatures is somehow racist. Because, you know, stupid reasons. Because this is what their side is like. When anyone sees an orc, the first thing people don't think of, oh, hey, those remind me of black people, which is what they say. They're like, oh, a racial, like a black stereotype, or it's like, I'm sorry, are you trying to equate orcs to black people? Here we are, the racist ones, and never have I looked at an orc and said, oh yeah, that reminds me of a black person. No, that is the left, the side of love and tolerance, the side of racism and hate have no place here. They are the ones who are looking at orcs and saying, oh, well, this seems like it could offend black people. Why? Why would it offend black people? Are you trying to say that orcs are like, or black people are like orcs? That sounds kind of fucking racist to me, you fucking racist prick. But yeah, we're the racist ones for calling it out. Oh. This absurd decision strips away one of fantasy's most iconic antagonists in a move that baffles players and DMs alike. A lick. That's what it says. A lick. Even more egregious is their gender swapping of established creatures. Dryads, traditionally depicted as female nature spirits in mythology and decades of D&D lore, have been reimagined to include male versions. Hags, whose very name derives from the concept of evil old women, have similarly been subjected to gender revision. These changes serve no narrative purpose beyond checking diversity boxes and demonstrate the designer's willingness to sacrifice coherent world building for political correctness. Again, this is, was it Magic the Gathering, I think? One of those with the space monkeys, the ones that like the really cool looking race of like space apes, and they're like the Hadozi. That's what it was in Dungeons and Dragons. But it was the same thing. They're like, oh, they're offensive. It's like, why would they be offensive? Normal people, normal people who aren't obsessed with race will look at them as and see them as this awesome race of massive primates who can traverse the stars, and they've really cool design. Racists are going to see them as like, oh god, a evil stereotype of black people. Why are you comparing them to black people? Sounds kind of racist. But we're the racist ones for calling it out. Not the ones who are equating space monkeys to black people. No, the people calling it out. The timing of their departure is particularly telling. Neon also noted they quit or got gone some other ways. Christopher Perkins, Jeremy Crawford, a couple of months ago from Wizards. This exodus comes just as the 2024 edition's failures become apparent to both players and industry observers. Critical Role's audience represents exactly what Neon described as 20-something, 30-something Tumblr types. The demographics these designers have been courting at the expense of D&D's traditional fan base. Their move to Darrington Press ensures that they can continue pushing their agenda. The 2024 edition fixes problems. Edition's problems extend far beyond missing orcs and gender-swapped monsters. The entire design philosophy reflects these men's beliefs that D&D needed to be fixed to align with contemporary social justice values. It doesn't. D&D has worked for so long, what, 50 years? Because it didn't. But no, oh well, we have to rename these. We have to change the characters and how they look. Oh, we can't refer to orcs as monsters. Oh, the gnolls can't be referred to in this because, you know, it might be offensive. It's like, what? How many gnolls do you know in real life? Exactly. You know, they're catering to that one person, and it's been that stereotype. But it's honestly the truth. It's you're sitting there with your friends, you guys are enjoying D&D, and you have that one friend. It could be female, doesn't matter. But they come in, and they're like, "Hey guys, can I play with you?" And you're like, "Okay." And then they start saying, "Oh, well, I don't like the language that you guys are using. Hey, can we change the scenario? It's really like it's really triggering to me." And then you have to start working the entire game around that one person. That's exactly what's happening. They're catering the game to the minority over the majority. But who cares, right? Why? Who cares about taking a 50-year game and just completely fucking up everything people love about it? Who cares? Um, where were we? Moved elements they deemed problematic while inserting modern politic concepts that make little sense in a fantasy game. As Neon concluded, I will give a pass to Daggerheart before I give a pass to D&D anyway, because this is a new system. While little is known about this new system and what it will represent, these hires represent a red flag, and with social justice facing past that, Critical Role already has established with their YouTube presence, it's hard for fans of tabletop role-playing games to hold out hope that this will be any different than what Hasbro's done. It's good news. Make this Dagger whatever a woke RPG for the lefties who enjoy it. All three of them. On the other hand, the sooner D&D reaches rock bottom, the sooner it can be restored to its roots. I've seen some of the Daggerheart ads and was curious. I was not being bi-curious. Now that I've seen who they're hiring, I'll give it a hard pass. But yeah, Dungeons and Dragons, pretty much Wizards of the Coast has destroyed Dungeons and Dragons. They've destroyed Magic the Gathering, all because it's like, oh, well, you got these races are very, very offensive, and they could be seen as racial stereotypes of black. It's like, I'm sorry, what? Again, I'm not going to look at an awesomely created space primate or freaking pirates and stuff like that in outer space and say, you know what, those remind me of black people. No. Not normal people don't do that. Just weirdos like them on Twitter and who have race on the mind 24/7 are going to do that. Normal people are just going to see a really cool race. Again, but it's like that scenario of that, the one friend comes in, doesn't play Dungeons and Dragons, but is like, oh, can I play? And you just let them. And then suddenly they're saying how the scenario is upsetting to them, or, oh my God, why are you treating those creatures like that? They may have families. You don't know if they're really evil. It's incredibly offensive. And then suddenly you're catering to this one person so they don't get upset, as opposed to just making the game fun. Exactly what's happening with Dungeons and Dragons and Magic the Gathering and all that. You have a bunch of fucking weirdos on Twitter and anywhere else. They're like, oh my God, it's incredibly offensive. Oh my God, they're racial stereotypes. What? What? Who's the racist here? You're looking at a giant monkey and you're saying that's racist? You're looking at an orc and or no, we're not saying it's racist, but you're looking at an orc and you're saying we can't call them monsters because of stereotypes of like gender or racial stereotypes. It's like, what? And you want to call us the racists? We're saying orcs are orcs. Flying space monkeys are just that, flying space monkeys. There's no deeper connection. These are the same people who say, oh, well, goblins are offensive because they're a racial caricature of Jewish people. Says who? If you look at a goblin and you automatically think Jew, you're the problem. You're the racist here. Not the person calling it out, you. The ones who say that hate has no place here, racism has no place here. You are looking at a character and connecting them with a group of people. You're the racist. So maybe these people will do much better with Critical Role. I respect these guys as like voice actors, but they're typical lefty, so maybe Christopher and Jeremy will be better off there permanently. But anyway, that's the evil. It's just they're just racial stereotypes. Go on. But that's going to do it for me. You guys know the drill. I'll see you guys later. Bye, guys.